build a zoo part, and I'm just going to go over the instructions just really quick with you. So this is the assignment that you have for in Google Drive. It makes a copy, puts it in there, but I also left the assignment open all week long because you're going to be working on this all week. What you'll need to do is just fill out a Google form that says, hey, I've been working on it and I don't have any questions. If you do have questions, please feel free to reach out. And maybe if it's a lot of questions and you're not quite sure about something and an email just doesn't do it, then let me know and maybe we can video chat. So basically, here's your directions here. You have $2 million to spend on animals and architecture. Here is your species list. In order to zoom in, if you'll hit Control Alt Plus, you can zoom in and read these a little bit better. And so what you'll want to make sure that you notice is the type of habitat that they need, because you can't put a beaver and a bison in the same habitat if you have one of those compound ones, because they need a different type of habitat. So just be aware of that. Also, be aware of the family group size. The minimum you have to have at least one beaver. You can have 500 beavers if you want, but you have to have at least one. Same thing with bison. And then you have the cost for each animal is listed here, and then how much space is required. So once you start adding on animals, it doesn't necessarily take away from, or it doesn't take the same space for one animal as it does for two. So for two beavers, you would need 40,000 because you have the 35,000 for the first beaver. The second beaver is 5,000. So kind of just a quick overview of that. So that's the species list on slide 2 and slide 3. And then you have your map. These are drag and drop areas. So if I want the beavers that I bought to go into this spot here, into this type of habitat, I'm going to drag it and drop it here. And then I'll use a text box and type over that this is the beavers. So if you have been to a zoo, they hand you like a little brochure with the zoo map so you know where everything is. This is kind of what you're doing to create that as well. So you're just dragging and dropping those. Those are as close as I could probably get them to scale, so you don't have to stretch them, but you may rotate them if you would like. These two are going to be what I would consider like a compound, so you could put multiple animals in there as long as they're supposed to be in the same habitat. And then you have, this is your acquisition. So this is where you'll put everything. So you can make a list of everything like on a piece of paper, on a separate sheet of something, and put them in here. So you'll notice it has a species, the habitat, how many are required, how many did you buy, how much was it per animal, how much was a square foot for the first animal for each additional. So the total square foot needed, and then the total cost. What you want to do, maybe not on this one, but note that certain animals might need more area. So, your beavers may not be able to fit into the one that you want. So you may have to change to a different building or architecture, I guess you could say. So make sure that you also note you have to have at least one restroom or concession stand. I put several on there. So that's these little shapes here. Looks like a hexagon. So you'll place those someplace on your map. And so then you have to have at least one restroom and one concession stand. You can have multiple. Obviously, that will bring you more money. Also, you do want to pay attention to how much money each animal brings you. So that's there. I did put a minimum requirement of spending at least $1 million. It's not too terribly difficult, but at least $1 million, and you have a maximum of $2 million. And then here is your building, how much each building costs. So that might also change your mind on what building you choose to go on for what animal, just based on costs alone. And so the special themed exhibit buildings are where you can have multiple animals as long as they are in the same habitat. And you'll fill in all of these. These are tables that you can just type right in there. Okay, so you have the rest of the week to work on this and get it submitted. I'll even move the due date back to Monday, so you'll have the weekend to get it finished in case that's what you need. And that's it just for this design a zoo right here. After this, you'll have a zoo financial piece, and then you'll have some zoo reflections. And then we're moving on to the next unit. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you.